Latest episodes have been bang.
All right. Cdawg is addressing the trash taste drama. Ooh. Let's see it. Ooh. All right, 1 second. Ooh.
Bangers. We're just trying to mix it up and try to do different things. But obviously, occasionally, people don't like things, which happened not too long ago as well. But that was a whole. That's a whole thing.
Let's
Yeah,
turn
you
it up for
noticed.
you guys.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Maybe a
the
little
thing
loud now.
is, and a lot of people don't like this.
There we go. That should be a lot
the way
better.
that we handle it, and the way that you should handle a lot of these things when they happen, like drama, is that it just don't. Sometimes.
All
it's
right, what
better
was he
just
saying?
Latest episodes have been bangers. We're just trying to mix it up and try to do different things. But obviously, occasionally, people don't like things, which happened not too long ago as well. But that was a whole. That's a
Yeah,
whole,
you're telling me.
That's a whole thing. Yeah, you noticed. Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is,
Just in case you don't know the context, he's from a Trash Taste, and Trash Taste recently hosted a very controversial streamer named Hasan. If you watch my YouTube channel, you probably know him. In fact, a lot of his fanboys are filling up my comments.
and a lot of people don't like this because the way that we handle it, and the way that you should handle a lot of these things when they happen, like drama, is that it just don't. Sometimes it's just better to just not address anything and
The old Asmongold strategy. Actually, it's probably the best, because as soon as I see people apologize or anything, it kind of like people start thinking, oh, you're guilty by association, even if you're just like sorry that happened, But with drama, I think the best I've ever seen is when you just ignore it and let it wash over. Either go cold for however long it lasts and come back, or just ignore it.
just let it just fade, mainly because when things get too heated, almost no matter what you would say in that moment, people are still going to be going to be unhappy, or at least the group of people that want an apology, or whatever, anything like that. If you
The group of people who want an
say
apology,
anything,
fair
they're just
enough.
gonna be more unhappy, and it just adds more fire to the flame. So that's why generally we're just kind of like, all right, we'll just let it, let it die down, let it move on, let them get over it, have their fun for the week. Most of them are brigaders. Well, okay, look, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing.
Most of them are
this
brigaders is such a wild take, because I feel like a lot of them were Trash Taste fans like me. I love Trash Taste, was super disappointed that they had Hasan on, and that he instantly started talking about politics and shit, because, man, his takes are wild.
clipped as well. I know this now, so I want to be very mindful about how I approach this. If I'm gonna mention anything here, is that I think there are a couple of important things to mention. So I think first of all, I think from our podcast perspective and from our perspective, if it is fair to say that if we don't engage in politics publicly, because it's just a mess. None of us live in the US. None of us are in any of these kind of intense political situations. I think it is also fair to say that why would we bring someone political on? Which I think.
Exactly. Or why would you bring? I mean, okay, so when you bring Hasan on, you're gonna have politics around him anyway. Even if you don't talk about politics, it's gonna be very politically based. But in the very least, if you're gonna have him, don't talk politics.
I think it's a very fair and extremely very fair criticism of us to do, which I
Yes,
agree with.
very fair.
I think the most annoying thing from my perspective and this whole thing is that there were legitimately fans of Trash Taste who were unhappy, and it's frustrating
Me, I wasn't happy.
because you can't see or actually hear from people who watch Trash Taste or who aren't happy because it just turned into like a political dick swinging contest.
I don't know about that. I mean, I guess it got covered a lot, so a lot of people outside Trash Taste end up seeing it. But I also feel like he's underestimating how many Trash Taste fans actually care, like me, for example.
About which side, which is bad on our part, because we've never had any politics or any kind of talks like that in the comments. So I think it was kind of bad of us to kind of almost invite that. Second of all,
Yeah,
the
at
thing
least
that's
he
also
admits
very
it.
frustrating is that no matter what people were saying, there was a lot of brigading on a lot of sides, and I think that two things can be true at once. There were Trash Taste fans
That is
who were
true.
unhappy, and there
Two things can be true at once, Hasan. It's something that Hasan does not like to admit.
also was brigading happening, which is also very frustrating to deal with, because then it's like, okay, now we can't actually listen to any criticism on the episode because both sides are jumping in, right? And I even told Hasan, I was like, hey man, can you not? It's bad enough that one side is doing this. Please don't bring up the episode.
I don't know how much brigading was going on to Hasan. I bet it happened, but I don't know if it happened as much as Hasan sending his audience after him. Because nobody was going, no other Twitch streamer was going, oh, downvote this, leave negative comments. But Hasan was going, oh, upvote it, report the comments. And he was trying to right the wrong. It's crazy.
And be like, hey, send people. You know, I was like, you know, just be above this. You know, don't do this. You know, because I look, if people who have very extreme beliefs want to go crazy, I can't stop them. They can do whatever they want. But you hope that at least, you know, another side wouldn't do that as well. So I told him, I was like, hey, just
fair enough.
Don't do that. And he was like, yeah, man, okay, my bad. But I think as well, you know, I told Hasan as well. I was like, hey, look, the show is not political. We don't want to deal with politics. You know, we're most likely not going to have you on again.
They said it. Oh my god. We did that voice. Oh my god, it feels so good. That probably hurt his ego so much. He wants to collab so bad, and now that he's lost one of his biggest collaborators, it feels so good. Man's a fucking freak. I swear. I'm glad to see that Trash Taste is actually taking on correct. They're doing the right things in response.
And that's not like anything like, hey man, you know, it's just like, look, we don't want to deal with politics. I think the Trash Taste viewers also don't want to deal with intense comments. It sucks to read.
I don't care about comments, but I don't want to have Hasan on, especially if it's only Hasan. And plus, you don't really watch Trash Taste for politics, especially not Hasan of all people. And furthermore, if they had someone else on to balance Hasan, it might be worth it. Like if they had, I don't know, Hasan is so extreme left. If they had somebody from the extreme right, I'm sure the left, any degree, would get mad. I don't know what the right take is here, to be honest with you, but I think they should just, don't have Hasan on. Especially since he ruined it by talking politics. It's just, when you see his face, too, it's like, ah.
People just get upset as shit about it. And I know some like fans of Hasan will be annoyed about that. But you know, I just told him, I was like, look, at the end of the day, we don't want to invite like a shit show to the comments. And I think it was ignorant on our part to think that if we just didn't talk about politics, that it would stay out of it.
But you did talk about politics. Literally, the first like 30 seconds of the clip is him talking about, oh, America's on fire, I'm moving to Japan. I'm like, bruh.
Because that was our thinking, you know, because we already had him on once, and it was fine. But some people were angry about it. But yeah, I mean, it was ignorant on our part to think that if you didn't talk about politics, it wouldn't matter. But yeah, you know, a lot of things have changed in 2 years. I don't keep up with what's going on. You know, I get all of my news from the BBC. I don't go on Twitter. I uninstalled it. I think
fair
all of us were
enough.
kind of
Twitter's a
blindsided
hellhole.
by it. So it was kind of, you know, a lot of people like they're out of touch. I'm like, I guess, like, I think that's safe to say.
Yeah, something you gotta remember is none of these guys are American. It's 2 British guys and an Australian bloke. None of them are American, and they live in Japan.
If being in touch is living on Twitter and engaging with politics 24/7, because we just don't do that. We've never done that. I think that is unhealthy. I feel like the level of vitriol is almost like at a point that is so.
Also, to be fair, I doubt they actually watch Hasan's content. If anything, they just talk to him in their free time as a friend. Because the last thing you probably want to do when you're done streaming or editing videos or doing whatever is watching more content online. He probably just wants to go do something. He might talk to him, and maybe Hasan is not as annoying when you're talking to him as a friend as he is when you're watching his streams. And maybe that's why he has all these friends that are streamers. But if you actually watch his content, it's all political based. So I think that's what Connor's trying to get at here, to be honest with you.
Like toxic to everyone involved that I have no wish to engage with it, and so I just don't. You know, I keep up with generic news, but I don't engage with any political spheres online. Like so it's kind of hard to keep up with. It's endless doom scroll. And I also think as well, and I think it's really important to mention as well, that I think some people forget as well, just because we speak English, and a lot of our viewers are American. None of us have ever lived in America. None of us are
that's what I was just saying.
We don't keep up with what is going on. I already see too much politics from a country I don't live in that I don't want to know. I see more about that than my home, the UK, which is crazy, and Japan as well.
I'll let him finish.
More American stuff. I turn on the news, it's all American stuff. You know, and
we've made it. It's almost as if America is the most important country in the world. We've done it. We've been it. But I don't know how this is shocking to anybody, especially anybody outside of America. When you hear so much American news, you assume, oh, it's annoying. It might be annoying, to be honest with you, but I mean, we are, America.
And I think it's also important to mention that I think that, again, there were Trash Taste viewers who didn't like the episode and don't agree with it and who are disappointed. And I think that's valid, I think it's fair to be. But obviously it doesn't, just because we have someone on doesn't mean we agree with every single thing that they would say. Now, fun fact, because
that is fair. Like, I would talk to Hasan. I don't agree with anything he says, but I would talk to him on stream just to, like, get his opinions, or maybe see if he's not as annoying as... Maybe he's less annoying off stream than he is on stream. I don't know. I think it would be interesting, but just because I don't agree with somebody, and I've said this before, does not mean I would not befriend them, as long as they aren't an asshole about their politics. And it does not mean necessarily that you shouldn't talk to them, You can talk to them and still befriend them and all that, but you gotta have a balance.
I'm sure people are wondering. I was keeping an eye because I was looking at what was going on.
Basically, your whole personality cannot be politics.
And I love looking at the stats because, I don't know, even while all this stuff was going down, I did find it terribly interesting to look at the back end stats of what was happening. And it was kind of interesting, I'm not going to lie. So the way YouTube works as well when you lose subscribers, by the way, is that it does it in increments of 10,000. And so sometimes some people...
Did not know that.
They love to be like, oh, they lost...
Never even seen that number of my subscribers.
I can actually tell you the exact amount of subs that we lost.
Subscribe, by the way.
I think it's interesting. And I think that it also serves value to explain that it is not just people outside of Trash Taste. We did lose subs. I can tell you exactly how many right now. Let me find out. We lost 4,000 subscribers, which is not a lot. But I also think
that sounds like a lot.
And I think it's bad to pretend.
Alright, as someone who doesn't even have that amount, that sounds like a lot. I'm just saying. When you have 1 million... Yeah, sure. It's like cents for $1, but like whatever. That's a lot of people.
And like, that people aren't unhappy. So like, I'm like that's sad. I feel bad that 5,000, 4,000 people who watch Trash Taste feel like they can no longer watch it. That feels bad. And that's a miscalculation on our part. There was also a couple of stuff flying around that was interesting. So first of all, a lot of people were accusing me of deleting comments. We're not deleting comments. We never have. YouTube has auto moderation. So naturally, if you put the word terrorist in a comment,
I hope he addresses the fact that comments that were up were disappearing.
A lot of the time, YouTube is going to flag that, because why wouldn't they, And there was some of the comments were kind of crazy, some of the language was inflammatory, and they're like, why is my comment being deleted? And they said, like, literally, like, the 5 key words that would get you banned. One other thing that I noticed is that when I looked at the comments, and I'd scroll, and I don't know what's happening here, and I don't know what exactly is happening, but I would literally see comments, because I was watching the comment feed from the back end, right? So from, like, the admin side. Some comments would appear that were negative comments, which is fine, I don't care, that would have 10 likes within like 1 second, which I thought was like, because on YouTube, the most important part of a comment's lifespan is not if it gets to 5,000 likes. It's if it can get a lot, like a 10 to 20 likes in the first like 10 seconds, because that's what will bump it up. I don't know what's going on there and how that works, but that was a thing. One other also thing that I know.
He's not bringing it up, but there was comments that were typed out, posted, and just disappeared. To my knowledge, the auto mod only kicks in when you hit send. It will not show up for anybody else. It'll just show up. It'll be auto modded as soon as you hit send. So if you're seeing a comment, it passed the auto mod. I've gotten a couple auto modded comments from Hasan viewers, so yeah, I know that system pretty well. But did not know that it takes like a couple likes and a couple seconds just to get it up. Oh, that's interesting. I hope he brings up the fact, like I said, that comments were posted and just vanishing.
Noticed that I will just mention very briefly, I'm not going to get too much into it, is that there was obviously a lot of bandwagoning on it because people were, loving it and people...
Alright, he's not going to bring it up. But I have seen a video where they say that it's probably due to Hasan's fans mass brigading and mass reporting the comments, which is not good. Basically censoring the Trash Taste comments, which is crazy because it's not even his comment section, dude. He's still trying to censor it. It's wild. But that's my assumption, and I think it makes sense after seeing that video. We'll go ahead and give him the benefit of the doubt that they didn't delete anything. I don't think they did delete anything. He's doubling down on it. And like I said, I think it's a pretty good explanation to what happened.
I don't like Hasan. And so people were jumping on it and making videos about it. There was a lot of stuff that people said that was just flat out.
I did that. I jumped on it and made videos on it.
Not true, and people were just making stuff up. Some people were saying, like, oh, they didn't have this guest on. They said they were too controversial, but they had another guest on. That's
Yeah, I never heard anybody say that, but if they did say that, that's definitely lying.
It's never happened. That's just a bunch of lies. So I don't know what that was about. There was also the only things that were disappointing from me, my perspective as well. Like really,
I wonder who they could be talking about,
people would then make whole
or who the comments could be talking about.
Because we had X on, that we then couldn't criticize any other creator. We couldn't. They were like,
what?
Oh, you know, these people have changed. They're horrible. Yada yada yada. And that was like, oh, okay, that sucks. That people are just making assumptions. But
so people said because they messed up, they can't criticize another person. Look, you're always gonna make mistakes. That's why I never think a permaban should be the first thing that happens to you. I think you should be able to learn and criticize. Just because you fuck up does not mean that you cannot criticize someone else for doing it, especially if you've learned from it, which it seems they have because they're taking actions against it.
Not a big deal. But yeah, no, I mean, look, the reason why we didn't address it right away, we wanted to wait, was because a lot of people, you know, they were just demanding things. There were a lot of comments that like, you need to delete this episode. Where I feel pretty confident in saying this, where if you ask Trash Taste viewers, do you want them to delete the episode? I think most viewers are sensible. They would say, hey, even if I don't agree with this episode, or I don't agree with this one, I wouldn't want you to delete an episode. I think that's crazy. Now,
is deleting an episode the right thing to do? That's a bit complicated. Honestly, I'm kind of with him. Let your fuck up be known. I think it takes more balls to not delete it, to be honest with you. Also, they've dumped a whole bunch of money. I mean, they have crew that run the editing and shit, I think. So I think it's just not worth for them to delete an episode financially or PR-wise. Because as soon as you delete the episode, it looks like you've lost, which you can't look like you've lost on the internet. Even if you're wrong, you can't look like you lost. I think what they're doing right now is a perfect response. I think deleting the videos just shows that you're not learning and you're just trying to avoid the issue. You're sorry you got caught, basically. While this is a much more, he's responding to it and keeping the video up, saying, look, we fucked up this episode. I'm going to keep it up because we spent a lot of money on it. And it's a mess up, and we'll learn from it. So go on them, I think.
Also, I want to make it very clear as well, in case you're watching this.
What do you guys think?
That because this is no doubt going to be a clip, that I'm sure that there's a good chance the comments, you know, might get taken over, depending on how big this clip is. Please think for yourself.
That one life, deleting it was not the play. Yeah, I don't think it is the play.
Please don't just read top comment and form your opinion based around that. Obviously, you're all adults. I trust you. And what I really appreciated is that a lot of Trash Taste fans did seem to be just tired of people picking a side and being emotionally charged about it. And we're kind of just like, hey, maybe it's not for me. All good. Next episode. Or hey, I don't engage with this. I'm done. So I appreciate a lot of the sensibility in this, because
I think when you look more into it, it's not about picking a side. I mean, maybe it is, but I don't think so personally. So I don't know. It could be seen as either one. If you're on the outside, it probably definitely does look like picking a side, though.
I think, look, we live at a time where everyone is so emotionally charged, and there's just so much rhetoric and so much, you know, everyone's got an opinion, everyone's got a side. And so I appreciate that people sometimes can have a sensible approach to it. I think what you will always get from me is never a clear-cut answer. You will always get an argument that I try to be as sensible as possible, and I try
Fair
to...
enough. I think he is pretty sensible.
And I'm not like a centrist or anything like that, or whatever, or anything like that. The reason I don't talk about my political opinions online is not because I don't have any political opinions. It's just because I just think that the online space does not get anything out of me talking about it.
And I respect that. What I will say, that's a bad freeze. What I will say is I hope he would be a friend with someone like Asmongold as well as Hasan, if this is his take. You know, like I said, I really give a lot of power to people who can be friends with people who of the opposite opinion, because your opinion does not need to make up your whole personality.
Thing to engage. I don't think it provides any value. I just hate France, and I think that's a fair opinion. But, you know,
typical British opinion.
I feel that the internet would be a lot better off if some people just knew how to shut the fuck up, and that's kind of where I stand. And so I'm one of the...
To be fair, Hasan should be one of the people who should shut the fuck up.
I'm of the opinion that, look, I think I'm an informed guy, but I also recognize that the internet doesn't benefit from me sharing my opinion. And it's okay also to not have an opinion. I think it's also okay to not give a f***, because I think it's kind of exhausting right now. And look, you don't always have to be on 24/7. 7. I think you can tackle it at your own way. You can tackle.
I think Trash Taste and Connor and all those people also got people from both sides in their chats and videos, because they don't address politics, and their content goes beyond politics. Like, it's past that. Like, people from both sides can enjoy that. So I think he's also kind of surprised by the reaction.
Tackle it in a way that you want, but. You know, I was inevitably going to talk about this at some point anyway, just because I wanted to talk about it as well. I didn't feel pressured to talk about it at all.
Also, I think he also doesn't want to talk about politics on his streams and videos, because if he did, the fact that he has probably a good, I don't know, 50, 60, 40 split between left and right in his chat and on his comments probably means a lot of his fans to be upset if he gave a take one way or the other. So, smart of him, and also, you know, politics isn't for everybody. Because it is exhausting.
But I thought there's a lot of interesting things to discuss.
Also, there's no need to start a war in your comments if you have
10 different things.
A diverse group of watchers.
Is the same. Of like, look, to the Trash Taste fans that are disappointed, sorry, you know, it is unfortunate. Are we going to do the episode? No. If you did you unsubscribe? Okay, I apologize for that you felt the need to unsubscribe. But at the end of the day, you know,
I'm sorry you felt the need to apologize. Is there a better way to word that? Because that's giving off some massive, I'm sorry that you're hurt that I insulted you vibes. Am I crazy? I don't know what you say, though, to be fair. I guess you say, I'm sorry that we made you feel like you need to unsubscribe. But I think I get his point. I think his point is the same. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it a genuine apology?
Yeah. And then there's like a million drama channels that jump onto it, and it's like, okay, this is just, you know, it went from being the opinion of actual Trash Taste fans to very quickly becoming the opinion of like certain groups who would just kind of rally around it. So yeah, it was unfortunate. And people will all come into chat or they comment on stuff, and they're like, hey, when are you know, how dare you? Are you going to address this? Yeah. It's like, look, at the end of the day, if I address it, a lot of these groups of people are not going to be happy with anything or any kind of response, right? Because if you say I'll delete it, a lot of fans who didn't give will be annoyed. If you say, all right, we won't delete it, then they'll get annoyed no matter what, and then maybe it's...
That's what I'm saying. It's a rough spot when you out of nowhere become political, when you have people from both sides in your comments. Because no matter what, if you respond to it by deleting, the people who like Hasan, the crazy people who like Hasan, and the people who are just on the left will get upset, and you'll please people on the right. But if you endorse Hasan, the people on the left will be happy, and the people on the right will be upset. So, I mean, when you have a diverse community like they do, I mean, there's just no winning. I think they made the best play possible.
It's not enough for some people, you know. So if you start trying to chase apologies, you end up just pleasing no one and just looking like a coward, you know. Which is why when, you know, Hasan,
that's exactly what I was saying earlier.
Felt bad and he was like, hey, are you going to make a statement or anything? I was like, no, I'm not going to make a statement. Who gives a like, you're not going to please anyone by making a statement. People just want to be annoyed because they want to be annoyed right now. You didn't watch and moved on. Look, I appreciate that. Thank you. I think the internet would be so much better if we had a bit more respect. But hey, look, that's how it goes. And you will engage in the cultural. I'm doing everything in my power not to, because I don't give a. Because I feel like half the time it's not even about like politics or anything like that. It's just about being right or wrong or being on the side. It's just pure tribalism, man. And I just don't.
I don't agree with that. At least myself, I know the takes I agree with Hasan, and I don't agree with much of what he says, but I mean, also it's just about like, do we want to have someone who is, how do I say this without YouTube being mad at me? Do we want to have someone like Hasan who endorses what's happening from certain groups of people, you know?
I don't want to engage with it. It's just bad for your
my
brain.
headset
It
in.
just doesn't help. I just feel worse whenever I read any of this shit, or whenever there's like absolutely demonstrably false things being said.
Come
I'm
on,
like, dude, what the
motherfucker.
f is going on? I can't engage with this anymore. Look, and that's why, again, I want to reiterate that we told Hasan, because we saw him reacting to it and being like, hey, get in there and stop. You know, he was trying to brigade against people who were brigading it, who they were. There was Trash Taste fans who didn't like it, and there was people brigading. And I told Hasan, I was like, don't do this. I think it's
That's
petty,
good.
makes you look bad. And I think it's pathetic. So don't.
Oh my god, I'm so glad he agrees, because that was one of my main points on the video the other day, was that it makes you look so bad, especially when it doesn't work, and it's so petty, and it's pathetic. I'm glad he hit on all of those, and he could be honest with Hasan, which is more so than I could say about other people. Ludwig, I love you, Ludwig, but come on.
Don't do this. Don't tell people to get in there and brigade it. So I think it doesn't help anyone. So yeah, that's that. That's pretty much all there is to it. I think it's not going to be a lot. I apologize to people who are not going to be satisfied with me talking about it in this way. This is the best you're going to get. I've genuinely nothing else to add. I wish it was more eloquent and I wish I had a script, but I think also these are the kind of situations where I think it's just better to be honest and just talk about it candidly. It'll blow over. I mean, look, as far as I'm concerned, it already has blown over. People wanted to make a stink. They made their stink and it's done. The reason why I didn't want to talk about it, and maybe this is a bad idea.
Again, I think he's a little underestimating. It's not just a stink. I mean, like I said, I just don't think he understands Hasan's take, because I don't think he watches his streams to know how crazy he is. And Connor does not also seem like the guy who's going to sit there and watch a 3-hour HD video to kind of get the overview of everything.
You're even talking about it now, but is that
especially when his friend is the focus of it.
There's a chance that it could have a second wind with me talking about it, which I don't want, because I think it's unnecessary.
I don't think it will. I'm hoping this is the book closing, because I really hate to see this happen to Trash Taste. So I'm hoping this video will close the book. This is the end of this arc.
See, but I think that's where I stand, generally speaking. Obviously, I speak mainly for myself there. You know, I'm not putting words into Jerry Gard's mouth. Yeah, all good. Have I seen Ludwig Bald? That is something that we should brigade, though. Actually, that is something that we should be pissed off about. He's doing us all a disservice. He has great hair. You get a twat on Trash Taste, and you can talk about how great France is. Never. No French people allowed on the pod. Oh, wait, no, we already had Canato. Okay, fine. We'll have him on the pod. Anything else? Anything else? I want to make sure I've covered I covered everything I wanted to say. I think that's
anything
basically
else?
where I stood.
I think that's basically everything too.
Stuff because I feel like I always get nervous for no reason. Just because I know that it's so charged, and I don't want to say the wrong thing. But if I said the wrong thing anyway, it doesn't matter. I think the sentiment is there, even if I don't say the exact right words.
Please note that, Hasan. His point is made. Even if he said some of the wrong things, we all understand what he's trying to say.
In the right order. Can't make everyone happy. Look, and I know that we're not going to make everyone happy, but I'd like to think that my point hopefully resonates with some people, and some people nervous about being cancelled. I'm not nervous about being cancelled. I'm nervous about I want to be eloquent for myself, and I want to be able to say things eloquently, because I just want to get better at that. And with these situations, you only really get one shot to say it, and I'm saying it unscripted, and I'm trying to do a cohesive point.
Fair
so
enough.
I just want to be eloquent, not for any. I'm not scared about being cancelled or anything like that. I don't give a. This whole it's so stupid. So
he's trying to do himself proud.
It's whatever. It's whatever. It's whatever. Even if you say all the right words, there'll still be people who hate on it. Yeah, and look, I don't think there's going to be a lot of people who are happy about it.
That's true. A lot of the people on the right, especially the extreme ones, will probably never forgive them. But I don't think those were the... I mean, they might be viewers of Trash Taste, but I think those are going to be the people who don't watch them anyway, so they're always going to think of them as the people who brought Hasan on their show. I think this is about the end. Let's go ahead and skip through.
And the thing is important, so that you can make your mind up, you know? All people is like, don't rely too much on comments. People go out of their way to try and get like the most liked retweet, or the most liked comment, or the most liked quote.
Yeah, he's just going to say, yeah, people exaggerate to get views, which is pretty true. Overall, I think a good response. I think they're forgiven in my eyes. They fucked up. They are aware of it, and they said, we will address it. Hasan's no longer allowed on. Thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe. I will be live tomorrow at 2 o'clock EST when this video goes up, probably. This will probably be my first video tomorrow. But good conclusion to the Cdawg, or not the Cdawg, the Trash Taste stuff. Thank you.